Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing this look that is inspired by JLo's makeup artist Mario. I'm doing a voiceover for this because I really wanted to focus on what I'm doing. Starting off, I'm not going to prime the skin, but I'm going to go straight in with concealer, and this is the Makeup Revolution concealer that I use all the time. And we really just want to put this in the center of the face, so on your temples, down the bridge of your nose, under your eyes, Cupid's bow, and then a little bit on your chin, anywhere that you would typically normally highlight in your routine. And then I also am going to put a little bit around the mouth as well, because we are going to end up blending all of this out. Okay, so now I'm going to use this angle brush to go in and buff out all the concealer that we just put on. You want to make sure that you're pushing it into the skin, but then also kind of fading it out so it blends in seamlessly. Next thing, I'm going to take a lighter concealer. This is the Infallible concealer, and it's the whitest shade. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I use it a lot for doing cut creases and stuff like that. But I'm just going to put this in the same area where we already put the other concealer, just to add a little bit of dimension and brightness to this look. Going back in with that same angle brush, you're going to do the same thing. You want to buff out all those little places where you put that concealer and make sure that it is nice and smooth. Next, you're going to want to take a flat brush like this one, and I'm going to use this foundation stick that is the color 410, which is a good color for contouring and what I typically use for my contouring. I also have a darker one that's 411 whenever I'm wanting to go a little bit darker with my contour, but we're going to keep it pretty simple. You're going to want to put this everywhere that you normally place your contour, so on your cheekbones, through your temples, we'll do a little bit down the nose. Pretty much anywhere that you would normally contour is what you're going to do with this. So next I'm going to take this smaller flat brush and that same color in 410 to go ahead and define my nose. It's a lot easier to use a smaller brush like this when you're going with the cream contour to really help you control where you're putting the product. And then I'm also going to do a little bit around the upper lip and the bottom lip. This is a trick that he would use to make JLo's lips appear fuller, is to put that actual darker color around the lips, which does look super crazy until you blend it out, but man, does it work. Next, I'm going to take this flat buffing brush here, and I'm going to go ahead and start buffing out all of the contour color. You want to make sure that you're pushing this in and you're not scraping too hard, because you do want to make sure that everything that you set underneath that isn't getting moved around or pushed away. So you do just want to press this in, pulling it up, and making sure that it looks nice and blended and faded. So just make sure to take your time with this step. So now what you're going to want to do is pick a color that matches your skin tone pretty well. So I'm going to use this color by Neutrogena. And I'm also using a stipple brush, which I typically don't use these for my foundation, but what you're going to want to do is take that foundation and you're going to want to put that everywhere over where you did the highlight, the contour, all of it. You're going to want to put this everywhere on your face to kind of help blend out the dark and the light. Everything will stay underneath as far as the light colors and the dark colors go, but you do want to make sure that you get this full coverage everywhere. And that's why I'm using the stipple brush, because it doesn't hold too much product, and I can kind of put it on very lightly as you see me doing here. So next, I'm going to take my trusty Wet n Wild palette here, and we're going to go into the lightest color. With that color, you want to go over all of the areas where you put your highlight to kind of set that in. And then I'll lightly go over the rest of my face with it just to make sure that I'm setting all of the foundation and the cream contours. But you do want to be very light with this because we're going to be going in with more powder later. Now, using this angle brush and my Cover FX palette here, I'm going to use the darkest color in the palette to go ahead and carve out my cheekbones. I actually end up switching brushes like 2 or 3 times because I just wasn't happy with the application. So now I'm going in with this little brush that I've had for a really long time that I use for all of my contouring when it comes to powder. This actually is not even a contour brush. It's a face brush, like a foundation brush, but it works really well for powder contour. So you're just going to want to go ahead and go back in the cheekbone area, through your temples, everywhere that you put the cream contour, and just darken that up a little bit. And y'all know how I said more powder? Well, now we are powdering the whole face with that same color in that Wet n Wild palette. We're just locking everything in at this point and making sure nothing is going to move out of place. But go ahead and feel free to slather this stuff everywhere. Going back into the Cover FX palette, I'm going to use that highlight that's in the top of the palette to go ahead and put a little bit of highlight on my cheekbones. I did spray my brush just a tad before this so it would stick out a little bit more. And then now we're going to go in with the blush that's in that palette. It's like a corally orange color, so it's really pretty, especially when you're doing a really bronzed look. And this brush that I'm using is a very fluffy Moda brush that I reviewed in my Boxy Luxe review, and I really like it for adding just a subtle pop of color. Now I'm going to go ahead and go on with my Morphe palette here. And we're going to use a few colors to define the eyes. So I'm going to use this bottom color here and my Morphe brush. And we're just going to go ahead and start carving out the outline of your eyes. So typically what I'm doing is I'm going in the crease and then I'm going to kind of make it a point on the end and connect it downwards so it kind of fits the shape of my eye. And then in a little bit, we're going to go ahead and blend that out. So this doesn't have to be too neat. You're really just kind of mapping out where you want the eyeshadow to go. Now taking my Morphe brush, I'll put all the descriptions of which brushes these are. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But this is the blending brush. I'm just going over where I made those lines to go ahead and buff that out just a little bit and make it look nice and smooth. Now going in with my Pure Sculptor palette here. I'm going to be adding a little bit more highlight, so we're going to go into that top color there, and this is what I'm going to be putting underneath my brows, just to give it a pop of color there as well. Jumping back into the Morphe palette, I'm going to use that top color. It's like a light white color over the blended eyeshadow that we already did, and this is more of just to blend it up into my foundation to make it look a little bit more natural, because we're wanting this to look like a really bronzy, just beautiful, natural makeup look. We don't want this to look crazy or anything like that. Now going back in with my small Morphe brush, and that same color that we used to outline the eyes, I'm just going underneath the waterline and kind of smoking that out just a tad. I wanted to give that a little bit of dimension as well, because we will be putting eyeliner on and everything later. Now going in with this really bronzy shimmery color, I'm just diving right in with my finger because that's the best way to apply these eyeshadows. And I'm just packing that all over the lid, kind of blending it into the eyeshadow we already put down. But you really want to make sure you're packing this color on so it actually comes through. So now going in with a eyeliner and then also a lip pencil, it's a duo. I'm going to be using this brown eyeliner to do my upper and lower waterline. You just want to make sure that you're using a brown and not a black, because I feel like the black is just going to stand out so much and it's not going to look as natural. So make sure to use a brown. And for whatever reason today, instead of doing my normal eyebrow routine with the iconic eyebrow set, I really just kind of wanted to use this pencil to go in with my eyebrows and really feather it out because I just wanted it to be natural, but I wanted to make sure that my brows are there because sometimes when I put on foundation, they kind of overtake my brows and then you can't really see them or they look much lighter than they naturally are. So I'm just going in with this pencil and kind of feathering in my brows very lightly. So next I'm going to be using this NYX pencil here to go ahead and line my lips. And I'm going to bring it all in nice and close so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But you want to line your lips a little bit higher than you normally would because you already put that contour color underneath. So we want to make sure that the lips still stay looking very full. Now I'm going to go in with this Ofra liquid lip. This is kind of like a satin liquid lip. I actually really like it because it doesn't dry out your lips too much. But we're going to go ahead and lay this down as the first color with the liner that you already put down. Now we're going to take this light pink Jordana liquid lipstick and we're going to put this in the center of the lips. So you just kind of want to pat that there, and then typically what I'll do is I'll use my finger and just kind of blend it in with the other color while it's still wet, and that gives you a really nice ombre lip. No look would be complete without the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, so we're going to go ahead and put some mascara on. You want to put that on the top and bottom lashes, so make sure you get both. And of course, we're going to add some lashes. So these are the Lily lashes from the BoxyCharm, and this is my very first time using them, and they are so pretty. Alright guys, and this is the final look. How do y'all feel about this look? It's very natural, very pretty. Of course, if you like this look, please make sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on the next one.